Okay. Welcome, Fehmi. Congratulations on being the Ambassador of the Month for May. How do you feel about that?
I feel proud. I didn't expect I'll make it, but yeah, I think it pays off to be involved in so many things in the ambassador team.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what's great about this program is that ambassadors are voting for other ambassadors. So it's nice to be voted in by your peers, of course. So tell us about your
Yeah.
Spartan journey. How long have you been racing for?
It hasn't been long compared to everyone else. It's like just the past 18 months. I had initially had the Abu Dhabi race in 2021 as my first Spartan ever,
Oh my
but moved to
goodness.
Canada. Yeah, I realized like Spartan, US, Canada, let me look what's going on. And Blue Mountain was my first ever Spartan experience. I went for the whole thing, like the trifecta races age group,
Nice.
and yeah, I got hooked since.
Okay, tell me a little tiny bit about the Abu Dhabi race. What got you to do that one as a first race in the desert like that?
We were coming out of COVID. Different community gyms and exercise groups were forming during COVID that evolved into CrossFit and Spartan and DECA training. So one of the gyms we had in Abu Dhabi, along with my friends, came to know like that there's the Spartan event in December of 2021 in Abu Dhabi. That was the only one
Hmm.
organized back then. And we got excited and we started YouTubing people with their camera phones and whatever, like action cameras from Spartan events to try and understand what goes on in a Spartan event and try to change the setting, like the backdrop from green and snowy terrain to the desert terrain. Yeah. So that was interesting.
That's quite an event to be your first event because that was Worlds, the World Championships. So was it interesting
It,
seeing
it
all of the worlds and the elite competitors?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was very interesting. So it was supposed to be my first event, but because I ended up racing in Blue Mountain, I started getting the hang of the names of the elite racers. Ryan Atkins being one of them, Jesse Bruce being the other, since like I sought out OCR training gyms, and One Academy was one of them. So I used to drive like almost 2, 3 times a week to Toronto to train at One Academy. That's where I you got to know Jesse. And then when everyone was invited or like was participating back at the championships, it was amazing to see everyone there, both from the men's and the female racers. So
Amazing.
seeing even uh, John over there and taking pictures with Ryan, with Jesse, and the other elite racers coming from all around the world, like from the US, from Canada, even from Europe, and the local ones who lived there in Dubai as well. So it was quite an experience, and it was not an easy race. The Blue Mountain Beast is the only benchmark I have to compare it, and it was way tougher than that.
I bet. I don't think it would be that easy running in sand. It'd be almost like the equivalent of running in snow here, I think,
Yeah, yeah, kind of,
if
yes.
you were going to train. So what's your favorite obstacle?
Um, yeah, I like those was my answer keeps changing every time someone asks me that. My favorite obstacle is usually the most challenging, and I
Hmm.
would consider like the Olympus or Stairway to Sparta 2.0, the beast version of it, to be the most challenging. But right
Hmm.
now, I consider the slip wall as my favorite obstacle because that's when I get my turbo charge. Like when I see the slip wall, and that's usually towards the end of the race, even if it's at the top of the hill or
Hmm.
bottom of a hill, that's where I can like I get my second wind and I know I have to sprint through, climb all the way up, even like without using the rope until the last uh, few feet. And so right now, yeah, this is the most exciting one because it gets me amped up again, even if I'm low on fuel at the end of the race. So I love that. I'm looking forward to doing it without ropes. I saw in one of the Spartan races in the US. I'm not sure if it was actually the official thing or just in preparation, but it was just pictured without ropes, and that I thought that would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot more
Yeah,
challenging for sure. So why did you join the ambassador program?
Uh, Quite honestly, I thought it was the best way to officially influence other people to get onto into Spartan racing. Um, Especially our runner friends and people we know from running groups. I also thought it was like it's a nice way to help people financially because I know ambassadors always have their ambassador codes and they can get you special discounts on races and passes and whatnot. So that's what got me into it. But now what's keeping me going is so many more things in the ambassador program, many other channels and activities of things we do as ambassadors.
Absolutely. And you did a lot, especially during I mean, you've done many things, obviously, that people have noticed, but you were like a mainstay in the info tent during the first race of the season, which was at Brimacombe. So tell me a little bit about that. What was awesome about it? What would you change? Anything?
It was an amazing experience overall, especially being the first weekend of the Canadian events and series. Um, you get to meet all the other ambassadors first of all, so you put the faces to the names of people who you've not never seen before. You interact with the staff, so like there are the blue shirts, there are the red shirts. The blue shirts are the guys or the girls or the folks who would guide you through what you need to do. So given that you know what you're doing at the info tent, that's where it gets more exciting because you run into the first time Spartans and the veterans who've been there and done that many times before. And you see the different kinds of questions ranging all the way from, do you know how I can train for a specific obstacle, to what time does this race start and where do the kids race and can I run with my kids? It's really nice to be able to help everyone out, especially when it's a very busy event, to meet new people. So I met many first timers. We got even to take pictures, selfies together, tag each other on social media, mainly Instagram. And now I can kind of remember the names from people who post on Facebook, like what do I do to prepare for my trifecta in Blue Mountain, for example, or I'm training for this obstacle. What do you recommend? Or what's the nutrition regimen that I should be following? Or what gear do you recommend? And so on and so forth. Like it's always engaging and always nice to see everyone's input, the other ambassadors and the other Spartans from all over the place, whether it's on like virtually on social media or in person during the race weekend. So yeah, I would say it's very interesting. I'd recommend that other ambassadors like do sign up to be at the info tent, and definitely I'd recommend for volunteers. You don't have to be an ambassador to volunteer to help out in a race weekend. So you could be doing so many things, but the volunteering experience is really good. It adds to your information and to your knowledge and gives you a behind the scenes touch of what Spartan is about.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like most people who volunteer want to get into the community more and be a part of that because it is really a special community. It's different than other racing communities. I feel that way, and I'm sure you do as well. But it lends well to
Yeah.
when people are asking you about training and nutrition and things, that lends into your job a little bit. So, what do you do for a living? I know, but tell us about it. And
Oh, on the professional level, I'm into IT. I design, I help my customers design secure mobile networks. So it's mainly Wi-Fi. I love Wi-Fi design. And it kind of meets Spartan in the places where I start designing Wi-Fi for outdoor environments, like an airport runway or Wi-Fi coverage for a park, and so on. That's on the professional level, but I've also started diving deeper into the exercise and training, the Spartan part of it, by starting my own training group, which is called Ox Trail, OCR. And that's where I'm combining my passion to like lead and work with people as well as Spartan to help people get familiarized with OCR, like tell them what obstacle course racing is all about and what they need to be geared up on to be able to race in Spartan and probably other races like Tough Mudder and other events. So that's where we meet once every week, whether it's a person coming from a running background or a CrossFitter or just a newbie, a new starter to athletics and fitness. The objective is just to teach them how to stay fit, have fun, and then learn about obstacles. So again, it's kind of a joint effort between me and people I know from running groups around Mississauga. And our obstacles are coming together week by week. So we have ropes, we have the spear, we have the jump box, we have kettlebells and weights we use for armors and farmer carries. We have buckets from Home Depot that are filled according to the Spartan race standards for male and female categories. And we're developing other stuff like net crawls and other obstacles that we're creating. Yeah, so
Nice.
that's what I do on a professional and non-professional
The professional and the fun
side.
side. You have
Yeah,
to have
and the fun side is actually taking over. Like I'd
oh
rather be
good.
into it now more often. Yeah, don't tell my employer that I said that.
We won't, not at all. No one will see
Yeah.
this. Um, and also, I know because we have the ambassador channels, you've looked into the SGX course. Are you a current SGX instructor, and would you like to be? Do you know anything about it? How do you feel about that?
So I happen to know now a lot about it because I felt that we do have an area where we can capitalize on to educate people on what SGX coaching is. So I do not know a lot about it. I feel, especially with my Oxtrail training group, it's good as a coach or a trainer to have to establish credibility by getting a certification. Without being of a physical educational background, like my education was in engineering and it was
Mhm.
more on the technical side. As an SGX certification is good to have, along with its perks as well. So yeah, going back to your question, I'm not certified yet, but I'm going for it probably in July,
Awesome.
knowing that, yeah, the training programs and meetings start on the first Wednesday in every month. So
Mhm.
that's my plan to get SGX certified. And because I don't have the prerequisites as a coach or as a fitness educator, I do have to go for the written for an exam as a prerequisite, and
Mhm.
everyone has to have their own CPR and AD certification, which I'm currently getting like I'm currently renewing that, and everyone
Amazing.
can do that. So the starting point for CPR and AD, which I think is mandatory not only for coaches but for everyone from our communities to be like a helpful resource in case of emergencies, like for your family, for friends, for training groups, for running groups. It's important to have such resources. So that's off the list. And then you have some education to cover by studying for a prerequisite and then going for the actual coaching, which I feel will add onto the experience that I have besides what I got from various gyms, various training groups, and the Spartan races that I've run so far.
Amazing. So just to say what that is, the SGX program is Spartan's coaching program. So you can be certified through Spartan as an SGX coach. That is what it's called. If you are not a personal trainer certified, then there are some prerequisites. You have an exam, I believe you have to pass, but you can look that up as well if you're interested. But yes, so we'll have another SGX coach in the info tent, which I think is awesome because any more awareness we can spread and information is really great to have. So before we go, I have one question. It's kind of a fun question, but do you have a random fact or a fun fact about yourself that's maybe Spartan related or not that you want to share with everyone? This one can all
Uh,
a stumper sometime. I mean, the engineering was a fun fact for me.
yeah. So I'll give you three facts actually,
Okay.
since you mentioned engineering. The first fact that popped into my mind was something I researched when I was in fourth grade. which is giraffes take 12 months to bear their kids. I don't know why that popped into my mind. You wanted
It's
something fun? That's the fun part.
it's a fun
Yeah,
fact.
yeah.
Awesome. I
From
love it.
engineering and technical background, uh, Wi-Fi or signals, like wireless signals, whether it's a cellular signal or Wi-Fi that we have at home, it's always bound by the physical aspects of uh, waves and frequencies. So no
Okay.
matter what you're springing for, the most expensive wireless router or the least expensive one, the technology is almost the same. So even if you pay $1,000 more for an access point or a router, it will not go through more floors or walls at your home. So I hope that helps everyone with their Wi-Fi coverage. But yeah, from a Spartan perspective, marginal gains, like I'm very interested into those, into improving habits. And
Mhm.
I truly believe that sticking to habits, just improving one aspect of your training or your life or your routines daily will improve your performance in Spartan, on obstacles, and in life in general. One example I follow is just getting better with grip and bars. And almost every day, the one of the staples of things that I have to do is just look at the pull-up bar across my doorway, get on it, get a few pull-ups in, and yeah, that's how I know. Like when I hit any obstacle during a Spartan race, I'll be going through it no matter what.
Amazing. Those are good little tips
Yeah,
too, because it is little small improvements in daily habits that make a difference. So, well, this was awesome
yeah,
talking to you. I'm really glad I did get to meet you in the info tent. We had lots of fun there, and I'm sure I'll see you for the rest of the season in there. It's quite a blast, that
yeah.
info tent. But yeah, so congratulations on being May's Ambassador of the Month, Femi.